Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that sometimes we cover benefits that apply to everybody in Canada, and sometimes we talk about the benefits that will be able to be applied for individual provinces. And one of the provinces that has been the most generous in terms of their support for their residents is British Columbia. And just as of a couple days ago, they've passed even more legislation that's going to add another $1,000 benefit to all BC residents, or at the very least $500 for certain people in certain situations. And this is called the BC Recovery Benefit. So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive on how this benefit works, how you can determine whether or not you're eligible, or if you're eligible for the $500 or for the $1,000, and how you can apply and when you can apply. So that's what you're going to get in this video. So this is straight from the BC government's webpage, and it says that the BC Recovery Benefit is a one-time direct deposit payment for eligible families, single parents, or individuals, and that benefit eligibility is based on net income from your 2019 tax return, and you have to apply to receive the benefit, and applications will open on December 18th, 2020, so that's coming up pretty soon. And it doesn't get into the specifics right here, but it says that the amount you're eligible for will be automatically calculated based on your income when you apply. They've actually done it rather well in the way that they've created this system, where you're going to get less if you make over a certain amount of money. It might get into that a little bit later on this webpage. And we'll scroll down a bit, and here it says that families and single parents are going to be eligible, and the $1,000 is going to be for eligible families and also single parents who have a net income of up to $125,000, and the reduced benefit amount will be for eligible families and single parents with a net income of up to $175,000. So it seems that this $125,000, if your family is making less than this, you'll get the full benefit, and if you're making anywhere from that $125,000 mark all the way up to $175,000, you'll be able to get some benefit, just not all of it, because it's likely you're doing a little bit better if you've been making this kind of money. And after $175,000, it looks like there won't be any benefit. And the way the BC government is defining whether or not you're a family or not is they're saying that an individual has to be with their spouse or common law partner to be determined a family. If they're separated, I believe it's for over 3 months, but I'll confirm that, then you won't be considered a family. And both people must be residents of BC. Otherwise, you'll have to apply just for the single person version of the benefit, which will be that $500. Also, the benefit for $1,000 defines a single parent as an individual who is the principal caregiver to at least one child. So if you aren't in a relationship, or you're not raising children as a couple, that's okay. You can get this as a single parent, and you can get that full $1,000 also. Now, if we scroll down here a little bit, it talks a little bit about the criteria for individuals. And again, like I said, that's going to be $500 for eligible individuals, and they can have a net income of up to $62,500. And you get a reduced benefit if you're anywhere between $62,500 and $87,500. So all the way up to an income of $87,500 on your 2019 tax returns, you're going to be able to get at least some benefit. And scrolling down here further, we get to the eligibility section. So this is all the criteria that you're going to need to fulfill in order to be eligible. So first off, of course, you've got to be residing in British Columbia on December 18th, 2020. So if you're out of the country and you're not here on December 18th, you could have issues in applying for this $1,000 or $500 benefit. You also have to be at least 19 years old on December 18th, or meet some extra sort of special eligibility criteria that we'll get into a little later. And you also have to have filed a 2019 Canadian personal income tax return. And again, this is because they're using that 2019 tax return as a way to verify how much income you made in the previous year to determine which benefit or reduced benefit you could get. And of course, in order to verify your identity, they're going to ask for a social insurance number or an individual tax number or temporary tax number. Any of these things will help you to verify your identity so you can receive the benefit. And just like we know about the CERB and the CRB, if you receive a payment for this benefit and later they realize, hey, this person wasn't eligible, they're going to require you to pay that back. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll know there's a big conflict going on with people being required to pay back the entirety of the CERB. That could be $14,000. If you haven't checked out that video, check out the link in the description. I'll try to put it here too so you can figure out what's going on with that story, because that's a doozy. And as we keep going, it says that if you're applying for the family benefit, your spouse or common law partner must also meet the general eligibility criteria. Of course, everybody has to be eligible under these rules. And now there are some specific individual situations here that we'll cover quickly. And it says right here that if your spouse or common law partner is in BC, then you're going to have to apply for the individual benefit. We talked about that. And also, if you're the principal caregiver of at least one child, you can get that single parent benefit, even if you are just an individual. If you're separated, you have a period of 90 days. If you're inside that period of 90 days, then you're going to be able to apply for the family benefit. But if you are separated or there's been a breakdown of the relationship and that's gone on for over 90 days, then you're going to have to be considered separated and you can apply for that individual benefit. And as we scroll down here, the next set of situations is that if you're separated and have shared custody, you're essentially going to have to apply for the individual benefit instead of the single parent benefit. Because your custody is shared and split, it's sort of saying, hey, you know what, you're not the sole caregiver for this child, so you can just apply for the individual benefit of $500 per person. However, if you determine that you are the principal caregiver to at least one of your children, you could still get that single parent $1,000, and you can determine whether or not you are actually shared custody or if you're a primary caregiver by checking what you're getting for the CCB or the Canada Child Benefit. If you're a shared custody parent, it's going to be those $500 individual benefits for you. And as we get down here, there are some questions and answers about the income tax return that you are required to have done in order for them to verify your income. And it says that if you were required to file a 2019 Canadian personal income tax return, but you haven't done so yet, you have to do this before applying for the benefit. So if you're somebody who's going to apply for this benefit, it's likely that you need to get started on your taxes right now if you haven't already done them, so that you can be ready to apply and receive this benefit as quickly as possible. But if you were not required to file this tax return because you earned less than the minimum that allows you to have that requirement to file these taxes, then you'll still need to file a 2019 return before applying for the benefit. They're going to need to verify your income in some way, so it seems like you're going to have to get this done before applying for the benefit. And as we continue, if your spouse or common law partner also didn't file a 2019 income tax return, you can apply for the family benefit still if you filed for your 2019 Canadian personal income tax return, and that reports that you were married or in a common law relationship, or you claimed the spouse or common law partner amount on line 3300 of your 2019 Canadian personal income tax return. So in most of these cases, it's going to have have both partners accounted for in some sort of taxes in order to apply for the benefit as a family at least. But the one category where you may not actually have to file your 2019 tax returns is if you just became a resident in Canada and you weren't required to file a 2019 tax return because you weren't a resident at the time. If this is the case, then you're going to have to provide documentation and proof of your income from the past, and you also have to convert this to Canadian dollars before doing so. So they're going to verify how much money you've made just to make sure you're claiming it and you're actually the intended recipient of the benefit and not somebody who's made like $200,000 last year and for all intents and purposes won't need this extra $1,000. Now to keep going, we get into some information about individuals and what they can expect and some of these questions and answers that the website is providing. And it says that if you're on income or disability assistance, you can apply for the recovery benefit. And if you've not filed your 2019 tax return, or you don't have a bank account, you can have a modified application that will be available in the new year to help you apply for and receive the benefit. Now, the reason that you don't actually have to have your 2019 tax return finished in order to receive this is because if you're on income or disability assistance, it's likely that they already have documentation about the money that you've received in the past, and as a result may not need to prove how much income you've made. Also, if you're making a ton of money from income, it's likely that you're not on income or disability assistance, so it's kind of redundant to make them ask for your income for 2019. And here it says that if you or your spouse or common law partner became bankrupt in 2019, the amount of the benefit you're eligible for is based on the total of your pre- and post-bankruptcy income. And when applying for the benefit, you have to enter the total of the lines 23,600 from the pre- and post-bankruptcy returns. This is a fringe case, so I won't talk about it all that much. But if you were in prison, you were confined to prison or a similar institution for a period of 90 days or longer, that includes December 18th, you're not eligible for the benefit. And this last sort of fringe case is about if you have a deceased individual, their estate can apply for the individual benefit if the person was alive on December 18th. So if something tragic happens and a family member dies after this date, their family can still apply for this benefit even after they've passed away. And also, this section of the webpage says that if you're under 19 and either you have a spouse or common law partner, or you are a single parent who is under 19, you can apply for the benefits, and this sort of 19 minimum age doesn't apply to you if you're in these unique set of circumstances. But now we get to what's a little bit more important for people, is what you need to apply. This is what you're going to have ready for them when you're applying in order to get this benefit as quickly as possible. You're going to need to have your 2019 income tax returns. That's something we talked about a little bit earlier. And you can find your net income, which is the number they're going to be asking for. You can find that on line 23,600 of your income tax return. So that's where you're going to look to get this number. And again, you need to file your taxes in order to get this number and in order for them to give you this benefit. So if you don't have your taxes done, you're not going to know what's on line 23,600. So you're going to have to get that done as soon as possible. And like I said before, you're going to need to give them your social insurance number just to verify that you are who you say you are. And in a similar way, you're going to have to give them your driver's license number if you have a driver's license. I think this is just another way that they're trying to confirm that you are a BC resident, because that's an important part of this. And here's something that people will find interesting. They're only going to be giving this benefit out via direct deposit. If you are on the CRB or the CERB, this is a little bit different, right? We've been able to get those checks via the mail, but for this, it's going to have to be direct deposit. So you're going to want to get that set up to receive this benefit, and it tells you a little bit about it right here. I'll delete this yellow ink, and we'll scroll down a little bit. And for your direct deposit information, you have to have an account, bank account with a Canadian financial institution to have this benefit sent to you. And you can get that direct deposit information from a check at your financial institution. Now, a pro tip here, if you don't have a checkbook, on most online banking, you should be able to go online to get what they call a void check. This will just have the information that people need in order to give you a direct deposit without actually needing to have a physical check. Oftentimes you can print this out. They do this for people who maybe have a new employer and they're going to be paying them direct deposit to their account. They'll provide this void check in order to get that information. So if you don't have a checkbook, you can try to do that at your online banking. And right here, it tells you the information that you are going to need to provide: your branch number, your institution number, and your account number to get that money sent directly to your account instead of having it sent to you by a hard check in the mail. And finally, the last little point of information here is that these online applications are opening on December 18th, and you can also apply via the phone starting December 21st. And keep in mind that also for this December 21st date, you're going to need to provide all the same information. So you may end up talking to an agent, or maybe it will be automated. In any respect, you're going to need to have all that information out in front of you and ready before making this call, just so that you don't waste your time waiting in line and realize, oh no, I don't actually have this information they're asking for. I'd really recommend getting it all laid out on a table before you start the application. And I hope that little run through of all of that information was helpful for you. I know sometimes it's a little bit bit easier to digest in video form than just going to this website and reading through this big block of text. Sometimes it's easy to listen to it. And I'm really glad that this benefit has been pushed through the legislation so that people will likely start receiving it before Christmas. I know that they were targeting before Christmas all along, but there was sort of rumor that they weren't going to meet this deadline, and now that it seems that they actually have. So kudos to you, John Horgan and the NDP. And of course, the intent of this benefit is to put it into Canadians' pockets, or rather BC residents' pockets, so that they can spend and stimulate the economy a little bit, and maybe help them make it through this Christmas or this holiday season. But also, if you haven't thought about it already, I'd really recommend thinking about your future when it comes to this windfall of $1,000 that a lot of people may be getting. If you can make ends meet even without this benefit, but you're still eligible for it, now could be the perfect time to start investing. That's what we talk about a lot on this channel when we're not covering the benefits as heavily. So I'd really recommend you check out some of those other videos I've talked about how you can sort of set yourself up for an investment plan that will consistently get you closer to your financial goals so that you and your family can live a more wealthy future. Because after all, that's what this channel is all about, bringing you this sort of information so you and your family can be in a better place in the future. So if you're interested in any of that, or you just want to stay up to date with all of these new benefit requirements and all this new information, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because I'm bringing updates just like this along with money and finance tips for Canadians to help them and their families. So make sure to hit those good buttons. And while you're down there, hit that like button and turn it blue, because when you do, the video gets spread to people who might not have seen it otherwise, and it could definitely be a help to somebody who might not even know this benefit is happening. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this sort of run through of all this information has helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.